Truth to power. Truth to power. Wait a minute.
Information man.
Truth to power. Myself. Information man. And lions. Welcome to truth to power.
Information man.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Information Man. I've got on the panel this evening, I have my man Lions Den that's on. We have real Aaron Collins on with us. And we have my man Clarence from Georgia, Deep South Georgia, that's on with us tonight. I want to thank you all for taking the time out on a Monday to spend a little bit of it with us. And we're going to talk about a few issues. As you can see on the title, I have Information Man podcast. We're going to do a podcast, and we're going to talk about issues of spirituality, religion. We have a few brothers on here who have some religious beliefs. We're going to see how we can wrap our head around that as it relates to being black men in America. How is religion necessary for us? Is religion bad for us? Has religion changed the narrative and the way we live our life today? Have black people in America been indoctrinated? Matter of fact, have black people throughout the world been indoctrinated by religion? Has religion been used as a weapon against us? Has religion been used to help us? Are preachers in the pulpit, have they outgrown their usefulness to the black community and to us as individuals? How do you all understand the difference between what is religion and what is spirituality? So we're going to talk about those things from a black male perspective. There may be possible time for us to bring in particularly a female perspective onto the panel as well. My man Clarence Ray did a YouTube video in which he encountered some brothers in his area where he lived that are black Israel Hebrewites. And I'm sorry if I didn't say that correctly. I'm bad with certain words. I had a brother who just wrote me today, who sent me his YouTube channel, and he is a black Hebrewite. And I understand that black people are the original Jews. Matter of fact, I understand that you had some of the first originators that came out of East Africa, the Ethiopians. But black people in general, we are the first of everything that's on this planet. Anything that we do, we are the first and original. So don't get me wrong. We are completely original on this planet. And that's the facts. So I'm going to bring a few of my guests on, get their opinions, but we're going to have each brother introduce themselves. We're going to have a cordial conversation tonight. We're going to be organized. And the podcast, it probably won't go into the deep of the night, but we will get to the issues that are necessary. So with that said, let me bring on first Lions Den. Go ahead and say a few words and greet the folks in the chat room and let us know who's out there watching.
Peace, everybody. This is Lions Den from the Far East. And I'd like to say hello to the people in the chat room. Nicole, Ali, Doug, Big L, the True Royal family, Ashley D, Cashmere G, Unsockin' One, Queen Know Who I Am, Gab Talk Media, Rockweiler Morris, Leo Johnson, let's see, Chris Yuha, Miss G, welcome. Let's see, Ann, welcome. Robin the Girl Wonder, Afrocynic Autonomy TV, welcome. And let's see here, King Wage, welcome. And that's Legendary Mother, Ashley D, and Isaiah, our niece. And that's it for now, info.
All right, brother. Thank you for those good words, brother. We have my man, Real Aaron Collins. If you want to unmute yourself and say a few words to the folks.
What's going on, family? How you doing? Yeah, my name is Aaron Collins, also known as the Real Aaron Collins. I'm glad to be here with the family. I'm Info Man. This is a real good brother. I appreciate him always invite me to speak on his platforms. So yeah, this is going to be a real good conversation. You could also catch me on Instagram at Aaron Collins 27, Facebook at Aaron the High Priest, Twitter at Aaron the Saved One. I try to utilize all the social media networks I can. You know, a lot of black people in particular think something, you know, they think is wrong with social media. Guys, don't be afraid of social media. It's here for us to communicate. Now I realize that, you know, they like to mess with us and stuff, but utilize it. But yeah, that's all I want to say.
Okay. I want to also let Gab Talk Media know that I sent him a link. I'm going to bring Nicole onto the panel as well. I sent him a private link because we don't want no infiltrators trying to infiltrate tonight. You know what I'm talking about. Let me go right in, but bear with us, folks. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me show no disrespect to Brother Clarence Ray. Brother Clarence Ray, unmute yourself and introduce yourself to everybody out there. Greet everybody, brother. Brother Clarence Ray, unmute yourself.
Oh my goodness. Okay, can you hear me now?
We're on live, brother. Greet the family out there. Get yourself camera ready, brother. This is get with the program and greet the folks in the chat room, brother. Go right ahead. Brother Clarence Ray. Brother Clarence Ray is having some technical difficulties, folks. Clarence Ray, can you hear us, brother? Just put your avatar on. Can you hear me? It's very important that you hear. Okay. Brother, are you hearing me?
I'm trying to get to his broadcast.
Why are you not on the broadcast, brother? We should be on. You're on the panel. All right, brother. We're gonna have to move forward until you're ready. Let's let me know if you can hear everything I'm saying, and can you greet the folks in the chat room, Clarence Ray? Okay, Brother Ray is having some problems. I don't know what the issues are. You were on the panel, brother.
I think he keeps making a mistake and muting himself.
Stop muting it. Don't mute yourself, Clarence. Unmute yourself, brother. Are you using are you using your phone or are you using your
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, listen, brother. We gotta Clarence.
Yes, I'm here.
You gotta listen to me, brother. We on live.
I know it.
And we gotta do stuff. We gotta be on point with what we're doing, brother. We can't be sloppy about it. All the questions I have for you is, can you hear me speaking to you? All right. I'm afraid
I can hear you all, but I don't think you all can hear me.
No. I can hear you, Clarence.
Oh, okay.
We can hear you, brother. We can hear you.
All right. Okay, all right.
Brother, why don't you go
All
ahead and put your avatar on? This is, come on. Put your avatar on because, people can see all of this and everything like that.
Okay.
Just put your avatar.
All right.
And we can talk, brother.
All right. I guess I'm ready now.
You're ready? Okay. So I was basically saying to you, brother, to greet everybody out there, brother. That's why I was, only reason why I had you mute. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. How you all doing? My name is Clarence Ray. For those who don't know me, I have a YouTube channel to where I just talk about black, the black unity and getting my people together. And I just speak in my own way. I speak out to the knowledge that I have about white supremacy, living in this world of white supremacy and things of that nature. And I just broadcast from day to day, and I would like to thank the real Aaron Collins and the information man for reaching out to me and allowing me is to be a part of their platform, is to get my platform out there to help grow my platform, and you know what I'm saying, doing what he's doing and everything, and I just. Basically, I'm still learning, and I'm still trying to just gather information as I'm speaking, So I'm doing that, and I had a chance to speak with my fellow Hebrew Israelite, and I'm working on just trying to learn more and everything. But anyway, my YouTube channel is very simple. You can find me over on Clarence Ray. You just say Clarence Ray YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Just say Clarence Ray for all of them, and you'll find it's just that simple.
All right, folks. I'll drop a link for Clarence's channel, so everybody will be aware exactly of the link to his channel. So, with that said, brothers, where do we begin? I want to get into the spirituality, the religious stuff in terms of what it means to us. Is it relevant to Black people today, or not? And I'm going to moderate this, and each person will get a chance to speak one at a time, and then I'll put a link in the chat room, even though I'm reluctant because we've got a troll. But if he tries to troll in, he will be rejected by all means. I'll put up. I send my man Gab a private link, but I guess it's not working for him. So I put that link in there. Nicole, come on in. It's going to be controlled conversation tonight. This is a very important conversation we're going to have. So,
excuse me a minute.
Mute yourself when I'll just mute you because we can't have interruptions with this conversation. We have to be on point, brothers and sisters. We have to be on point.
All right.
Okay. So where do we go? Where do we begin? Lion's Den. What is your thoughts about religion, spirituality? Now, are you a religious person? Are you, last time I checked, brother, you believe in the Muslim faith, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
What are your thoughts about spirituality and religion in general?
I think that really spirituality is very important, especially depends on what religion you're representing. With myself, when I was become Sunni Muslim, we believe that, the Prophet Muhammad is teaching us how to believe in yourself and how to, believe in fellow man and fellow woman. I think that, we've been having bad raps in the last couple of years, after September the 11th, when they basically here in our government is trying to portray Islam as bad religion and calling us terrorists. But in some cases, just because they created a group like Al Qaeda, that we're part of Al Qaeda, we're part of a terrorist group, but Muslims around the world, us Muslims were 2 billion strong. So basically, just because we're Muslim doesn't necessarily mean we're terrorists. And we're taking our religious very, very seriously. So, of course, we're celebrating the holy month of Ramadan. And I think this week is the last week of Ramadan. So, which is really, Ramadan is like when you have fasting, you've been fasting the entire month. So we definitely taking this religious very seriously, but it's a peaceful religion, not what the powers that be portray us to be.
Okay. What about real Aaron Collins? Unmute yourself, brother.
How you doing, brother?
All right. It's good to have you here. What are your thoughts on religion? Are you a religious person? Do you follow a particular faith? What are your thoughts?
Piggybacking on what Lionsden said, I believe that spirituality is important. And as I've shared in the past and I've stated even in the beginning of my videos, many people know that I believe in Christ. I'm what is known as a born again Christian, but I don't believe according to the European standard or doctrine of said Christianity. As a matter of fact, I want to break it down that the word Christianity is actually, or Christian was actually a mocking term. So in the Bible, we're not known as Christians, we're known as believers, because once again, we believe that Christ died on the cross for us, and now we've accepted him as our Lord. And a lot of people but I use the word Christian just for the sake of those who do not understand the full context. But I wanted to say that a lot of people have this idea that Christians are just a bunch of mean-spirited people who judge folks and beat people upside the head with the Bible. And unfortunately, there may have been some people in the past that have done that. I'm someone who's planning to destroy that myth and let people know that I really do want to express the love of Christ, because a lot of people, they look at the gospel of Christ, but very rarely do they show the love of Christ. They look at his message, which is a good thing, but very rarely they show his love. And a lot of people think that, well, you can't be a Christian and be about black issues at the same time. Nothing could be further from the truth, because I learned that the images that we have seen of Jesus over the last year, over our very existence, those are not true images. That is not how Christ looked. He was not a European looking person. Matter of fact, the pictures that you see today is a person known as Caesar Borgia. And from what I understand, he was somehow involved with Michelangelo, one of those guys during then. So yeah, I hope that answered the question. I know I have a tendency to ramble.
Okay. We got my man Gab Talk Media on. Unmute yourself, brother, and give us a little bit of your insight in terms of if you're a spiritual or religious person or follow a particular type of religious belief. I just wanted to kind of lay the framework for everybody to see what everybody's religious beliefs are, and if there is any, before we get into further other areas of the discussion. So go right ahead, brother, and I'm happy to have you here with us, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm glad to be here. I came up, I was born into the Christian faith, where my mom was practicing, and I think I did that by force until I was about 12. And then my mom kind of drifted away for a minute because of her relationship, I believe, who was a Muslim brother. They didn't pull me into that direction. They kind of went into like a spirituality mode and left it for me and my brothers and sisters to discern for ourselves what would be better, or what we thought was best for ourselves. And later on, after some trouble in my life. I joined on to the Muslim faith in the 90s, early 90s, and lasted there for a stint. And it's the Muslim faith under Minister Elijah Muhammad, now Minister Farrakhan. And I lasted there for a while, and I still hold that viewpoint. And it kind of, that viewpoint kind of guides a lot of my direction. I don't agree with everything of anything, but spirituality, faith, good sense, I'm able to weave when I'm in conversations, like let's say it's an atheist or something like that, or Hebrew Israelite, I look for the uniting principles that usually are in faiths. And I'm usually pretty successful in having a discussion because it's kind of the way we were taught in the nation. At first, I was, trying to make everybody believe the way I believe and all of that. But I kind of grew out of that. And now I'm about freedom and what makes a person, what is a person believing that takes them to their highest and best use.
Mm-hmm.
And I will kind of leave it there and tell you guys further the discussion.
All right. I'm going to bring it back over to Clarence. Brother Clarence. Let me see. Maybe I have him on mute. Yeah, I do have him on mute because of the noise in the background. Let me bring him back in. Take him off mute. Clarence, unmute yourself, brother.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You get my perspective on religion, right?
Yes. Go right ahead.
Well, first and foremost, I was raised in. I was myself was raised up East Side Pentecostal. What my mother would call Church of God in Christ. I'm just giving you the origin and starting that. And when I turned about 17 years old, I was like, before I turned 17, I was going to church, like on Sunday, I should say. I didn't know anything about religion, the Bible. I didn't know anything about children of Israel. I never heard of Jews, all that stuff. Never heard that before. Never heard it. You know what I mean? It's just like I just went to church. I didn't even understand the whole purpose of it. The only thing that came to my mind that we was honoring a person who is control of everything. That's all I was thinking as when I was younger, like in my teen. I mean, you like early, like maybe 15, 14, so on and so forth. When I turned about 17 years old, I had got into this faith by the name of Seventh-day Adventists, and which the Israelites, based upon according to the Bible, they observed what is called the Sabbath day from sunset Friday evening, which will be because Friday evening, from evening to evening makes a whole day. And I got into that faith. I was witnessed to by a elderly lady, and she asked me, have you ever heard of a nation called by the name of Israel? I said, no, I never heard of that. She said, do you know what chosen means? I said, no, I don't even know what chosen means. And she said, well, that's a group of people that the Most High chose to represent him and be a holy people, be a righteous people. Now, there are certain laws in the scrolls, in the Torah. Well, I didn't hear it like that at the time because I was not educated on anything at that time. I was totally just blind. So what I've done, I just said, well, just tell me more about it. And then as I gotten older, I really realized that a lot of the Christianity, which was the Rome, they changed a lot of things you know what I mean, when they in the second, at the beginning of the second century, they changed a lot of things, just started going, just changing. And I started realizing, and for some reason, I just woke up and realized that the all of the things that I from based upon what I've been reading in the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, and all those kings, Jehoshaphat king, and the 12 tribes and stuff like that, discovered that it was speaking, and it was based upon the like the Bible talks about Esau, you know, and all that. And Esau, that's what we was talking about earlier. Esau is the author of so-called religion, which is the white man. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I came to a realization and realized when to give you just an illustration, just a little illustration of whatever. Esau was a hunter, and he liked it red soup. You know what I mean? Like red soup. He was a hunter in the field, and Jacob was a plain man. This was in Genesis 27. And he chose Jacob out of those two nations. And he said one nation will be stronger than the other. One people will be stronger than other people. And that people that he chose would be the seed of the Israelite, the Jewish people, and so on and so forth. And he chose them, but all the other nations, which were the Chinese, which were the Moabites, and the Assyrians, and Esau, and all of that was a so-called white supremacy that was against the people of color. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And realizing that the whole Bible, based upon the people in the Bible, all of them was the majority of the people in that was black. That's why we went through so much, you know what I mean, and things of that nature. And it just, you know what I mean. So I'll stop it right there. And like I said, I'm not a religious person. I don't consider myself a religious person. I don't consider myself a Christian. I don't. I just basically just still trying to just get a better understanding and just going from there. You know, I don't claim to be a part of nothing. I'm just kind of like analyzing and just still trying to do my research and learn it, get a better understanding of what the knowledge that I say I have.
Okay. Let me mute yourself and
okay, you want me to mute myself?
I'll just handle it, brother. I'll mute you and then bring
okay.
What I want to do, everybody has made their declaration. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. In terms of me, my family on my mother's side were Jehovah's Witness, or on my father's side, the family was primarily, you know, Christian, you know, Baptist. My mother grew up in the Jehovah's Witness religion. There was a lot of things about it that was very, very tough, very harsh. And as she got older and started to learn more, she broke away from it, realizing that it was not the right way. The Jehovah's Witness religion, if you are familiar with it, it's a religion that's very restrictive. They don't believe technically. And remember, my mother was born in 1947, so she came up at a very critical time where, you know, things were even more harsh in terms of discipline, how you discipline your kids, what your expectations are. So she basically grew up in a religion which basically told her that you're not supposed to be of this world. You're in this world, but you're not to be of this world, meaning you really shouldn't be going to school. You really shouldn't be getting involved in sports activities. You really shouldn't be associating with people that you deem are people that are part of this world. Your job is to get up every day, go to the church, or go to the meetings, as they call them, go to field service, go out in the field and spread the word of Jehovah's Witness religion, go to Bible studies. That's pretty much it. And family. So my mother had a lot of talents, and Jehovah's Witness religion at that time wasn't a religion that would basically say, oh, I'm happy that my child's in a play at school. I'm happy that my child is a writer. I'm happy that my child has aspirations for to be an athlete or something, for example, or to go to college. They really frowned on that. And as a result of that, a lot of Black folks that were involved in the Jehovah's Witness religion at that time and even up to today, their natural gifts and growth was stunted. My uncle should have been a professional baseball player for the Baltimore Orioles. He was a young man and they were looking at him when he was even in high school. But because of the religion and then the family commitments at that time, raising your other siblings when your parents had to go to work, as a result of that religious pressure, he was not able to pursue his dream. And when I would go visit him, I always wondered why he had attitude, why he was such a bitter type of man. And the reason why he was a bitter man is because the religion really put a hold on him. And as he got older, he still practiced the religion. He even told me once when I was back Baltimore visiting him when I was in college, I think I was in my early 20s at the time. He told me, well, you probably don't want to continue your college because this world is coming to an end, because Jehovah's Witness religion, they believe that there's going to be a reckoning in which this planet, this earth is coming to an end. And that if you don't go down the right road of Jehovah's Witness, you will not make it into the kingdom, is what they call it, the kingdom, where everything will be milk and honey, as they've been, And so my uncle told me not to go to, get out of school, drop out of school. Now, had I listened to my uncle, I would not be where I am today without engaging in educational pursuits. Okay. At least not where not what I'm doing. I'm not saying that you have to go to school to be a successful person, but I do realize that if I had not gone to school and did what I did, I wouldn't be doing the things that I'm doing now, and I would not have had the experiences that I have now. So my uncle gave me bad advice, in my opinion, and then later on down the line, he got himself in trouble trying to steal something, and as a result, in the Jehovah's Witness religion, they do what they call disfellowship. So here's a man who was involved in this religion. It took some things from him that he wanted. He was bitter. He stayed in the religion for a long time, raised a family, gave me bad advice that if I had to listen to him, it could have changed my life. And as a result, he's now fellowshipped out. He's been kicked out of the religion. So I would have been a fool in my mind to have listened to him. Then when I was younger, I did Bible study with the witnesses. I went to some meetings, and eventually I pulled away from it. My mother did research and she found out, just like Scientology, the Jehovah's Witness religion was basically founded and created by a white supremacist or a white racist individual. And he was also a fraud, just like the guy Ron Hubbard who created Scientology, a complete fraud. So here you got Black folks following a religion that's been created by someone who was pretty much did not like Black people. Sort of like the Mormon religion, the Mormons believe that Black people go to one heaven and white Mormons go to another heaven, but yet they got their hands all over countries like you have in the Polynesian world. And a lot of Polynesians tend to gravitate towards that type of religious doctrine, the Mormon, because the Mormon church does a lot of their missionary work, and that's how they indoctrinate people. So when I was a youngster, I broke away from it, and I always used to question people like, why is all the people in the book white? Why is every damn image, whether it be in a Bible, a witness book, or anything I was studying, why is it all the images of the people were white? Even when they would show images of us, of the so-called new kingdom that you're going to go into if you follow the commandments according to Jehovah's Witness religion, that somehow if I follow those commandments, I'm going to go into this new world. And when they would illustrate this new world, the new world would basically be white people petting tigers and lions and animals and having children around them. And it would all be white people smiling and grinning. very few black people in the illustration. Would make you say to yourself, hell, if the world's coming to an end, are you telling me there's no place for a Negro in heaven or in the kingdom, as you want to call it? So basically, this is the way I grew up. I didn't grow up being attached to any one religion. I simply take each religion and take what's positive out of it and apply it to myself. I used to go to the Nation of Islam meetings when I lived in the Bay Area, in the Fillmore area of San Francisco. There were brothers that used to, the Nation of Islam used to use the LA Hill Hutch Community Center to have their meetings, and I used to go. My mom would go, so I was very heavily into the Islamic or the Nation of Islam doctrine. Okay. Because I thought it applied well for me, because as a black man, I wanted something that speak to me. So to this day, I still have a lot of respect for the Nation of Islam in terms of Farrakhan, Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, some of what they were trying to do. I have respect for that. But the way I never grew up in no Baptist church. I never grew up in any type of Christian type of theology for any length of long time, because I always felt that the Christian theology was sort of a backwards theology in terms of the preachers. I feel that there's too many what you would call this is the most dangerous thing you can do to someone. I think preachers that are shalligans, they are just like the pimps on the street that sell women for sex. Only thing they're doing is they're selling spirituality. They're robbing you of your spirituality by pimping your spirituality for their own better good. That's why I have a problem with this whole prosperity theology. So the question I'll put forth to all of y'all, as you have heard my doctrine right now, or my rhetoric I'm speaking, is that, is there a difference between being religious and spiritual? Because spirituality is your personal relationship that you have with God, whereas religion is an organized body of people, or an organized system which you follow principles and rules and guidelines. Being spiritual, it doesn't necessarily mean you got to adhere to the group. You adhere to the God that's inside of you. You adhere to what connects with you. So whether it's meditating, whether it's me saying, you know what, I agree with what Minister Louis Farrakhan is saying, I'm going to apply that to my life, right? Or let's say people that are Buddhists and they have certain principles, and I may say, hey, I like that and that, I'll apply that to myself. So I don't really see myself as really completely Christian. I don't really see myself as really completely Muslim. I don't see myself as, and there's even things about the Black Israel Hebrewites that I do agree with. And there's some things that they believe in that I don't agree with. Like one of them I will tell you, which I do have an issue with, but not a real strong issue with, is that it's probably the only thing I have a problem with, is that a lot of times they make the notion that that we as Black people in America don't come from Africa, or that we're not really Africans. We come from a tribe of Shabazz, or there's 12 tribes, and I understand that. And I can acknowledge that, yes, there were different segments of people, and that we were what you would call Hebrew. Black folks were the original. We're the original in every goddamn thing on this planet. And I don't think you necessarily have to say that we don't come from Africa, that we come from here, or we come from this place. We come from the whole goddamn planet. So for me, I kind of X all that out, because Black people, we come from the whole goddamn planet. The whole fucking planet belongs to us. So whether we came out of Africa, or we really come from North America, or we really come from South America, the bottom line is the whole damn planet we come from. So therefore, I feel there's really no need to really get into all this dogma about whether we came from Africa or not. The bottom line is our asses were snatched up from somewhere, whether it be Africa or Middle East. The bottom line is all of the Middle East and what we call Israel, which is a carved out, created state. All of that is a diaspora of Africa, period. If you look at a real historical maps, the names have been changed. The Europeans have manipulated everything. I mean, Zimbabwe was once called Rhodesia. Remember the Rhodes Scholarship that people get excited about? Well, that was after a scumbag named Cecil Rhodes. who tried to change the name, right, to mimic his own philosophies. So I would say that I pretty much look at everybody's doctrine and say, what can I apply from their doctrine into my life? And how, and anything that's positive about it, I will apply to my life and make it work for me. So I can't really say I'm against, if you're Christian, I'll look at what's positive about being a Christian. If you're a Baptist, it may not be for me. Okay. And one of the problems I have with organized religion is oftentimes it's being, the dogma of that religion is being given to you by a man, and it's being interpreted by someone else's philosophy. And then you in tune take that philosophy and you are applying it based on what they're reading in some book. And remember, when we were born, all of us on this panel, I'll just throw this at you for argument's sake. Everything that we freaking know is because some man or some person told us. We were socialized from the time we came into the world. So when you were born as a baby or conceived by your parents and born from the day you were born, you weren't indoctrinated with any religion. God made you and brought you into this world first. So I've heard brothers say, hey, it's not about being pro-black. It's about being black first. I came into this world black first, as dark matter, before any religion indoctrinated me, before I knew that there was a Yah, there was a Jehovah, or Allah, many names that God goes by, right? We don't know. All this stuff is indoctrinated on us by a human who introduces a good book or a Quran or the Buddhist principles or whatever these principles are. So we're basically inundated as humans from the time we were born with some type of doctrine to socialize us. If you look at the history of religion in general, it primarily was used as a way to socialize the population, to control people, to get you programmed to believe in something and to worship that something, or to believe in a person. That's why I have the issues that I have. I grew up in the Fillmore area of San Francisco, and I had a friend named Eddie Newwood. His whole family died in the Jim Jones situation in San Francisco. His whole freaking family was wiped out. Why? Not because it was the religion. Religion is not the problem. The problem is the humans who run and manipulate religion. It was these black folks in the Fillmore area of San Francisco, they followed a white man to their death who began to dictate and say that he was God himself. And he had help from San Francisco because he had connections on the boards in San Francisco. So I saw people who were involved in a religion that ultimately killed them and wiped out their family. Not that, I'm going to say it again so people don't get me wrong. It's not that the principle of spirituality or religion is wrong. It is what humans do to fuck it up. For example, the Catholic Church religion. Is Catholic religion evil, or are the priests who manipulate and molest children evil, right? Is the religion itself evil, or are the people who run it evil? Okay, because you can have brothers and sisters in any of these religions who can do corrupt things. I don't care what religion it is. You can always find someone who's doing something possibly corrupt. And if you find that out, does that change your spirituality? Does it make you say, I don't want to be a Muslim anymore? I don't want to be a Hebrewite anymore? Or I don't want to be a Christian anymore because I found out that my preacher is sleeping with the congregation? I think you shouldn't follow the man, but you should still be connected to your God. That's why I feel that that's where religion, and for me personally, has some drawbacks, maybe not, because my spirituality is my personal relationship with the Almighty and the All-Knowing. No man or human should come in between that. And a lot of times you have people in these churches in America who are either, are they following the man or are they following the religion? Now, as I have made my diatribe to you, you may agree with what I said. You may disagree with what I said. I don't have a problem with whatever you didn't agree with what I said. Let's have the open forum discussion now, brothers and sisters, if you're out there. Let's go at it. Brother Aaron Collins, you heard what I was saying. You got anything you want to say? Y'all can all unmute yourselves, brother. Let's get into some gumbo yaya with this. That's all. Put it out there, and don't be scared to put it out there.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I understand exactly what you're saying, Inframan. You're 100. I agree with you a buck on that one. And if you break down the word religion first of all means to rely. Okay. And for us, for those of us that are Christians, we believe that Christ came out here to establish a relationship and not necessarily a religion. See, religion is a system of practices that man does and manifests and perform to reach God. And Christ, through his relationship of dying on the cross, that was what he did to reach us, because he loved us. So that's where that comes down there. So that's the problem. It's religion, and people need more of a relationship.
Okay. Can I throw something controversial to the discussion?
Right ahead.
The question is, why do, and I want other brothers to speak, but I'm just throwing this out there for more things to bite on. Why is it that people are walking around wearing crosses around their neck when the cross is a pagan symbol that was created by the Romans that they used as a torture chamber for Jesus? Why would we make a religious symbol out of something that's actually a pagan symbol when it was actually the African Ankh that is the original cross, not that cross that people wear around their neck who go to Christian churches? That's a cross of paganism. That's a cross of torture. That cross is not a spiritual thing. Now that's
a real good question.
I'm just throwing it out there for us to chew on, brothers.
Did you want me to? Oh, it was a question, or I can answer
that. You can answer that. I'm just throwing it out there to chew on.
And you know what? And that's a good question too, Info Man. A lot of Christians are probably just I don't want to use this word, but this is the only word I can think of, maybe of ignorant of the history of it. But yeah, you're right. The cross was used as a symbol. It was actually an execution symbol. A lot of people feel that that's their way of representing, of remembering what Christ did for us, and maybe they feel that that's their way of honoring what he did for us, and maybe they think that's the way why they did it. Like some people even go as far, particularly Catholics, even go as far as to have an image. Of course, we know that's not image, it's true image, but a figure of an image on the cross still. And sometimes they feel that that's they're doing the right thing.
Right. So, can I jump in?
Yes, sir. Go right ahead. We need your voice.
Right. So, brother Aaron, peace to you, man.
Hey, Gab, talk how you doing, brother?
Yes, sir. I'm good, bro. I want to ask the panel, because I heard what you just said, and often this comes up. I want to know, is what brother explained just now sufficient? Because if the believer has their reason for believing in something, and it's a remembrance of a story, at least, of a man that was good to them, it's what they know of it, is that sufficient, or should we go to war with them because there's some history that says otherwise? I just want to listen to this response.
Anybody wanna respond to that statement? Lions Den, anybody?
Nope. Is everybody listening?
What was the question? Okay. I'm trying to understand what you were asking. Gap Talk. I heard you, but I was trying to get an understanding.
Okay, so you just explained. Actually, the question wasn't to you. I took what you said and kind of repeated it, because what you were explaining was that, people are wearing the cross.
Yes.
Because it's a sign of remembrance for what the man that they understand to be a good man, Jesus.
Okay.
As a sign of remembrance for a great sacrifice. Okay. And the question is, I often hear this, and I know we argue over signs and symbolism, but is it enough if I were a believer in that? Is that a sufficient enough? I want to remember the man that I've read that done great things. Is that enough for me in a discussion with anybody on the panel, or do you need something else from me?
No. I understand where you're coming from. My thing is that people who confess to be Christian, they will use the Bible to tell you, hey, you shouldn't do this and that because that's paganism. That's a pagan symbol. Shouldn't be doing that. Okay. So my question is very honest here, is that if the Bible was filled with a doctrine that says you should not worship pagan things, like, for example, a lot of people in this country who are down on Kaepernick for not standing up for the flag. Well, first of all, you shouldn't be worshiping a flag. A flag is a symbol. The Bible tells you you're not to go through God through any symbols. You shouldn't go through God through worshiping something other than God. So my thing is that when you put a cross around your neck, you're doing it to say, hey, I'm remembering what happened to Jesus. But the question is, why do we put a symbol that is a pagan symbol that has nothing to do with God at all around our neck? It is something that was created by the Romans, the Europeans.
Right.
So why is it that we can't remember Jesus in other ways besides a cross that has nothing to do with spirituality? It has more to do with something that's evil.
And I'm trying to figure out, what difference does it make?
I understand what you mean. And you know what? You're absolutely right to ask that. Yeah, we can do other things to remember him. Like just simply meditating on his goodness, his mercy, him just waking us up in the morning. Yeah. Just remember that, and don't necessarily have to have a cross to do that. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I used to get off into these symbolisms and carrying crosses and stuff. I mean, I meant well, and a lot of people mean well, but they just, let's just say, like I said, some people are just not knowledgeable of what they're doing. So I just simply think about his goodness. Just last night I was thinking about how far I've come as far as my shadow is concerned and stuff like that, and I thank him that. Now, I don't think it's necessarily nothing that I did. I mean, of course, I did the footwork. I got that went to YouTube and created the channel. But the fact that I have as many supporters on there that I have, that many people that want to listen to what I have to say, that's I look at that as a blessing, and I constantly think about it, and I thank him for it. So I hope that answers you, Gab Talk.
I want to answer Brother Gab Talk Media as well, brother. I think the reason why it does matter is because everything that you wear and put on your body is politics. It's an expression. It's what you are expressing to the world. And if I wake up every day and wear a symbol that's pagan, that has nothing to do with God, I'm projecting that energy and giving that symbol energy by wearing it on my body and projecting it into the world that I walk into. And I'm telling people where my mind is when they see that. And it's a symbol that has nothing to do with us as Black people, to be quite honest with you, because the true spiritual cross is the African Ankh that we tend to forget about. So that's the reason why I just brought it up, just to see. I wanted to see where everybody's mind was with that statement. But
no, that's a good discussion. I really I love I like signs and symbolism, and I kind of knew where you were going, but I often see many other people, and I know that's not your intent for your show, is to kind of like just find things, because I know that you worship in a different faith than I do. I'll just pick a thing to start up. Sometimes it's discussion, and sometimes it's me trying to tell you that your spirituality is wrong. And I think sometimes a lot of the brothers, in barbershop talk, we kind of go down the wrong direction, and then we just frustrate each other over something that's sometimes a little trivial, especially when you're dealing with a person who doesn't study that deeply into their spirituality. Hey, they grew up in the church, they read about a man named Jesus and Moses and all these people doing these great things for people, and they cling to them. And I try to build with people on those principles as opposed to but I do like the historical discussions too, so I'll leave it at that. I've been rambling a lot here.
No, that's all good, brother. Gab, do you have a live stream you're about to go on in 30 minutes, brother? Because if you do have to leave, just let us know. No problem at all, brother.
I bumped it to 11:30. I might have it on might not. This was too good, man.
Yeah, because I got you on I got alerts on my phone. I can tell who's coming on, who's
okay,
all that good stuff at any given time. But I appreciate you blessing us with your presence. I'm
hanging on. I'm hanging on.
Okay, Lions, you've heard a little bit of the discussion, brother. You want to chime in?
I mean, I'm gonna tell you a little story about myself. I was born as a Pentecostal Christian. My whole family was a Pentecostal Christian. I just converted to Islam about a year ago. Because as you know, Info, I have been dealing with some tragedies like 4 years ago. You know, half of you already know about. And I've been through some downhills, been some ups and downs, but a couple of my friends who are Muslims told me about Islam and what's real Islam is all about, and I was really interested in it. And then like about February 21st, which is 2017, that's when I officially got converted to Islam.
So basically, you was listening to the joint?
Huh? Anyway, like I said, I basically learned a lot about Allah, and I learned about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and what he believes in. And Allah means God in Arabic. So we have like Jesus also in the Quran, which we believe he's the prophet. So we all believe in the same. I mean, we have different religions, but we also believe in the same God.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Let me do you think that when it comes to Black people, I hear we're all these different religions, right? And I hear you talking about Arabic and all this kind of stuff. But some would say that once you as a Black man once you take on someone else's religion, you also take on their mindset. So if you are Christian, Muslim, all these different other religions, are you taking on the mindset of the very people that have oppressed you? Because when you talk about Arabic, we do know that the Arabs had their hands in the slave trade. You have the Portuguese that have their hands in the slave trade. Europeans had their hands in the slave trade. And we do know that there were some intertribal warfare in which you had intertribal warfare that caused some of these tribes to sell us off into this triangular slave trade, which was basically based in economics. Okay, because people are spendable, and the dollar or the whatever currency they use at the time is always recoverable. Okay, and you always must judge a tree by the fruit that it bears. And so the question is, why do we as people, when we do know that some of these religions like Christianity have been used to indoctrinate us when we came off these ships or when we were snatched from our homeland and brought over here to be enforced?
I gotta do some excuse.
So, all right, do what you gotta do.
All right.
So we know that some of us, our ancestors, were indoctrinated with some religious philosophy as a way to also make them docile and good slaves and obey. And even if you look at some of the doctrine that they spoke of during the time when we were on plantations, they were all there throughout these churches in the South. There were doctrine that said that it's meant for God is meant for you to be a slave. That guess what God wants for your life, and that form of religion or Christianity has been resonating in our minds for all the time that we've been here. And then the question is, with all that is good about Islam, that we hear, why are we still adopting a language? And then maybe I'm wrong. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Why are we adopting a language and a philosophy that comes from those that also were involved in our oppression? And the question is, the deity that they believe in, did that deity really exist? Now, I'm asking very difficult questions. I don't want to step on anybody's toes, and by no means am I an atheist. So nobody get that twisted. I'm very spiritual. I believe in God. So I'm not one of these people that don't believe in anything. Because I think to be a person who doesn't believe in anything makes you a very hollow person. That's just my opinion. But like I said from the very beginning, everything we know is because some human individual with two legs has told us this doctrine. And I work in psychology, and I know for a fact that if you repeat something enough to somebody, and it will resonate in their mind, and you can put something into their self-conscious mind and make them do to your bidding what you want. Just like using drugs. If you keep drinking and using drugs, you become an alcoholic. You become deeper and deeper into a religious philosophy. You could become a fanatic about it. Hell, at my job, I had there was a brother that was a Muslim and one that was Christian, and the guy that was Christian ended up killing him with his own Bible because they got into an argument about religion. And I know religion is one of those things that we really should not. We should stay away from having a conversation about, they say, but I believe we can have an honest conversation without arguing with each other and feeling like, hey, you disrespected me. I don't mean to disrespect. I'm just asking these questions because we should always question and think about what it is that we practice. So how y'all feel about that? If anybody else wants to come on the panel, I'll put a link in the chat room if you want to come on the panel. Go right ahead, real Aaron Collins.
Yeah, information man. Just listen to what you're saying. And yeah, you're right. Those are the two the most controversial topics is politics and religion, and society does tend to shy away from both of those. One of the things I definitely want to say about Christianity, most of us, like I said earlier, we have always believed it according to our European colonizers, the perversion and doctrine of it. But once we became, or at least once I've become knowledgeable of who he is and what his description was, I began to look at it from that perspective. Even when you said earlier that that most of the images you saw have always been Caucasoid images, and yeah, you're absolutely right. They've always been, because I've noticed that too, and it's always been indoctrinated. That and didn't even realize before that, yeah, I too was being indoctrinated with white supremacy, even from the spiritual perspective. But once again, what they used as a weapon of destruction and division, it's actually is actually not true anyway, because he's still pure. Matter of fact, there's a scripture that says that what the devil meant for your harm, God turned all things work together for your good. That's what it is. All things work together for good to them that love the Lord are called according to his purpose. And that's exactly how that is. See, they used Christianity to enslave us, but that doesn't mean that that belief in Christ itself is wrong. That's because they used it to abuse and misuse it and mistreat us, and they're still doing it today. Does not mean that Christ himself is wrong. Like I said before, I know that I'm very well aware that the images that we see of Christ have always been European and Eurocentric. But once you get into the knowledge, you begin to get away from those images and begin to look at the revelation description of him, saying that he was a man, that he had hair like wool and bronze skin. So we already pretty much can differentiate what that is. Now, woolly hair has always been synonymous with, well, our hair, which is known as nappy hair. And the term nappy is not necessarily an insult. It's just the texture of hair that we have.
I hear you. I get what you're saying, brother. No insult at all. I get it. I grew up hearing that many times, so I totally agree with you. How do we, knowing what we know, how do we as Black men apply? First of all, let me ask this question. How many of you on the panel right now consider yourself more spiritual than religious, or both? But I almost feel like there's a separation in the two, but that's just my opinion. But go right ahead.
Anybody?
Go right ahead,
I'll go ahead. I would consider myself probably more spiritual right now than I am religious. Although I keep a close tab on what I read of scripture, be it either the Bible or Quran, and I do that just because it's what I'm most familiar with. Historical writings and whatnot. Like I said, I always try to find a blend in spiritual truths so that I can be in conversation with people and to try and have some effect in that conversation with people. Because the bottom line is, what you study or whoever you're praying to, what is it helping you to do? What version are you of yourself as a result of that study, as a result of that experience?
Yes.
What version of yourself do you find yourself practicing? And like you said earlier, I'm very much like you are in whereas I'll take a little bit from here. I'll see the truth of this. I'll see the truth in that. And I'm fine with it in my discussion. I don't need you to be converted when you are whatever it is that your creator made you. And to me, your creator is whoever you believe it to be. And I say that because it is the power of your mind or the power of someone else to have control over your mind is that powerful. Like it's what you make it. That's why belief in yourself is so important and so powerful. The belief in your ability to be all that you can be is what's important. So if anything that you're reading or praying to or congregating about, if it's lacking power, I'm just suggesting that you give some other things an opportunity to have a better effect on your position in life.
Yes, I agree.
Yep.
I agree. Are we spiritually bankrupt in this country? Because we see a lot of religious leaders. I mean, I think I read an article some years ago where they said that the Black church was taking in billions of dollars per year, right?
Yeah. I'm sure. Go ahead.
No, I'm just wondering, with them taking in all the money, and I've been in Oakland, I've been in many urban environments, and over the years, I lived in Oakland for 10 years. I've been back east, San Francisco. I noticed that in the Black community in general, you tend to see a lot of churches in particular, but yet you see some property or you see some economic hardship. And I'm thinking to myself, if we've got all these churches in the Black community, and why do we have some of the problems that we deal with when we have all these spiritual temples in the Black community? And the question is what we're getting from the spirituality working? Is it?
I certainly do agree.
Each one of you as an individual, but is it working for us as a people, as in a whole, when you've got so many shysters who wear the reverend's robes?
Let me take a stab at that one, Info Man. Yeah, I really want to answer this one, and that's because a lot of us in the Black community have this mentality. Well, I'm gonna just trust and believe the Lord. Yeah, do trust and believe Him, but at the same time, faith without works is dead. And a lot of us don't understand the concept of, in order to properly exercise your faith, you have to get up and move on your part as well. And as far as the conditions of our community, well, you know what? It's a result of that. And when you get a lot of these ministers who do not properly inform the people on what it means to be a child of Christ, or what it means to have faith, this is where people start getting discouraged and start losing all hope, saying, you know what, I tried to believe in Christ, because I heard it before. They tried to believe, and look at the conditions I'm in. And you know what, you really can't argue with them. I mean, what can you really say to a person who's in poverty? And I've heard the stories about how the grandmother gave the last that she had to the church, and they didn't help her pay. Yeah, I've heard those stories before, and it breaks my heart. And a lot of people, they really give the body of Christ a bad name. That's what I'm saying. That, like, a lot of people, they misrepresent God, they misrepresent Christ in the proper way. And I am talking about in the Black community. That's why a lot of Black people have converted to the nation, because, and I'm going to say this, and I may catch some flack from other Christians for saying this, but I don't care. I'm going to speak the truth. Many of the fruit have stepped out in the community and have they've met the need, and that's not to say that other Christian pastors haven't, because there are some that are doing it. But I've seen the fruit go out into the communities and go talk with the gang members and stuff like that. One thing I'm going to say that I saw this at it was on YouTube. It was at one of the Savior's Days. Minister Farrakhan, he had, I think, Snoop Dogg and a few other people as guests at a Savior's Day, and Snoop got up there and was saying that how that during the whole East Coast West Coast thing, how the minister stepped out and spoke to how he basically squashed this whole East Coast West Coast thing, because, you know, we had already lost Big and Pac, and how that the fruit, they get out in the community and they talk to these brothers, whereas you got some ministers who won't get out and go talk to the Bloods and the Crips or the Gangster Disciples and Vice Swords, if you're from Chicago like me, about that. So that's another reason why there's a disconnect between the Black community and the church, because it all goes back to the faith part. They don't properly know how to have faith, because those that are supposed to be leaders of the church don't really properly show them how to have faith.
Good point.
I hope that answered your question.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Brother Gab Talk Media, I just put a link for your channel in there, brother. So folks, go ahead, if you get a chance, subscribe to Brother Gab Talk Media. Brother's a good brother, makes a hell of a lot of sense, very much on point. Support this brother. We got to support YouTubers that are doing positive stuff. God knows we got enough negative stuff going on YouTube or in this world in general. Make sure you subscribe to my man Lion's Den, his channel. Make sure you check out Real Aaron Collins. Everybody knows who he is. Check him out. Brother's brilliant as well. I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead, brother. What you were gonna say? Go right ahead, Lion's Den. I think it was you that were gonna say something, brother.
Oh, I totally agree what the Real Aaron Collins is saying. I think that, and see, here's the problem though. I felt that, you know, when you see religious people, you know, have churches or have a mosque, and basically the question is that, you know, we all believe that that God also believes in helping the poor and the rich. But the thing with the situation is that, I mean, my question is that, you know, basically, I also see that when you have, for example, when you have churches, you passing tithes and offerings, and they said it's for God, but yet is it for God or is it for the pastors for themselves? So but the thing of it is, I think the problem is that we have to basically, and I'm also a spiritual person myself. But the only thing I can see is that if you believe, and no matter if you believe in Allah or you believe in God, then the only thing you believe is in the higher power. But sometimes sometimes you basically, so I'm not saying all, but I'm probably have some flack myself. But sometimes pastors or religious leaders is using basically faith to give people to give money to their churches or their or for just for them, because I noticed that I see some pastors or religious leaders seeing they need to buy money for new jets or new homes, and and that's not what God or Allah is all about, but yet they using it as a profit instead of basically use it as for helping. What's really helping is for the people, for the poor. So I think basically what I'm saying is that people should really realize is that, really we can't use religion as property. We got to use, if you believe in God and you believe in what's in your heart and what's in your mind, and that itself is righteous. You can't basically looking off of people that, especially pastors or religious that say, oh yeah, I believe, believe this, and this. Yeah. But then turn around, you taking profit for your members. So, but at the same time, you got to understand that as long as you believe who you want to believe, then that makes you feel good, and that's all about you, and not what the pastors want on their personal gain.
Okay, Lions, then just hang on for a minute because I'm gonna come back right to you in just 1 minute. Let me give a shout out to Elder Rashad. He's in the chat room, or I think he was in the chat room, or he still is. Definitely check his channel out. Subscribe to him. Elder Rashad, happy birthday to you, brother. I know you just turned 70 years old, I believe. You had a little birthday bash on your channel a week ago. So, brother, I want to tell you personally, happy birthday to you, Elder Rashad. Love you. I want to give a shout out to Underrated Darkness. He just came into the chat. What's up, brother? Good to see you here. Lions Den, take it from there and acknowledge a few people in the chat room. And if you can read anything that they're saying related to the topic tonight, it'd be great.
All right. I'm reading, let's see, King K. Yeah, King K says some of these churches are under 501c3. I don't know what that is.
It's a non-profit status.
Yeah. Okay, Ella Rashawn Live is saying that, oh yeah, I'm still here. Just let everybody know he's there. African Defender says spirituality ain't a church or a mole. Let's see, Robin the Girl Wonder says, Handy, we try to unite the churches, but like you said, we're only one church. It's not a big one either, about 600 people. Let's see, Exposed Fake Pro Black says, hello and happy birthday, Mr. Elder. Love your channel. Let's see, basically, Artie B. Fresh says, King Wage, we should put a chicken bone. Everybody, let's see here. I'm trying to read the past. Okay, Nikki, this is interesting info. Nikki says, I'm accepting of religious people. I never try to take away what their beliefs, give them, but they aren't that accepting of me for some reason. That's interesting.
Okay.
See here. Okay, Robin the Girl Wonder says, we tied big time and all the money is buying up real estate around the community. You bought 6 houses so far and low income people live in them.
Okay.
Queen Know Who I Am says, giving holy scriptures to full pre-exers to interpret. It's like a teacher turning the class over to students, and there's no understanding of scripture.
Okay.
Which is really interesting. So yeah.
Okay.
That's basically it right now, info.
All right. By no means am I trying to say that people should not believe what they believe in. I'm not saying I'm not a spirit. I'm a very spiritual person. I believe in the Almighty. I'm simply bringing this discussion up tonight because we see what's happening in the world today, right? With everything that's crazy going on, you have people in the world who claim to be Christian, claim to be whatever their religious beliefs are. But look at all the what's going on. We got my man. We got Mr. Research coming in. But what I want to say is, with all the things that are going on in the world, we have a lot of hypocritical stuff going on. You know, you would think religion was supposed to bring people together, but it seems like it separates people sometimes, you know. And we as Black people need to be very concerned, I believe, about tribalism, because even religions will put you in a tribal type of mentality. You know, I'm a Muslim, he's a Hebrew, he's a Christian, she's a Buddhist, whatever, and that kind of separates people based on these religious tribes that we're a part of. And then that also, when that happens, it's easier for our enemies to destroy us when they can divide us by religions. Because you hear it all the time. People will laugh at Jehovah's Witnesses and say, oh, the witnesses are knocking on the door, right? And laugh at them, right? And whether you don't believe in what they're doing, you have a hell of a lot of our people involved in these religious, and that's another way to separate us, because that person's a Baptist. I mean, let me just throw this out here. Why do you think you have all these different religions today? Okay. Why do you think you have a Baptist church, First Baptist, Second Baptist, Fourth Baptist? Why do you think you have all these things? Because somebody didn't agree with somebody. And they said, hell, I'm going to take my ball and I'm going to go over here and create me something over here called what? You got Catholic Church, and they're against what? The Protestants. They don't like each other, right? Because somebody didn't agree with something. Hell, there was a time where you had Black folks who didn't agree with musical instruments being in the church and gospel singing, and said, no, we don't want that. That's the, you know, these things separate us into tribes, man, and divide us. I'm saying it's done by humans. Religion in itself can be a good thing, but humans, we kind of mess everything up when we get into these tribal type of manifestations from being a part of a particular group, religion, fraternity, sorority. I go to this school, you go to that school. You know, I live in this neighborhood, you live in that neighborhood. You know, we're so damn divided. But Mr. Research, brother, well, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, I appreciate it, man. I just finished a counseling session, so I saw you hit me up. Since I've done my Patreon, I'm getting a lot of counseling sessions now. But here's the thing, just to answer your question, and I'm going to take it from the standpoint of people who are not religious.
Okay.
Atheists made some comments to me. He said, Q, why do you feel this and why do you feel that? I said, for the same reason that you put so much energy into being anti-religious.
Okay.
Why would you not just, hey, anti-religion works for me. Here is the good things that are developing in my life because of that. To answer your question, it's so many of them because a lot of people don't have good examples of the group that they're in and how it's helping them.
Okay.
So to your point, it goes to a different group and a different group to the point where they start feeling the emotion of the cheering, the emotion of the praising, the fact that you like dancers at one as opposed to kick drum and bass guitar at another one.
Okay.
So just like in the atheist example, you don't have any glorified examples of how atheism is helping you other than to denounce the religion, and how you and the religion, you don't have any good examples as a Baptist other than to denounce the seven-day evangelist. It becomes that. And that goes to what you said about tribalism.
Okay. Because the reason why I brought up the tribalism, that's actually how Europeans were able to destroy Africa.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of Africans or Black people on the continent are divided by tribes. Matter of fact, I had a chance to interview Search for Uhuru, and I've looked at his videos, and I know you're familiar with him. You guys have collaborated, you two brothers. And he said in one of his videos that when he went over to South Africa, which he did not like personally, that they thought that he was Nigerian. They were ready to freaking do it, you know, bust him up because they don't like Nigerians for whatever the reasons are in South Africa, or at least that's what his perspective was when he went there. So
Right.
even the continent that we come from, that we keep saying that we got to get back to, and we got to get back to these African ideals, even on that continent, you have these tribal allegiance that people have, and they will divide themselves. And we do it in America. We do it in sororities and fraternities. We do it in our Masonic groups. We do it in our jobs. We do it with, you got a fancier car than me or a better school. We separate ourselves by communities, separate ourselves even in our sports.
The information, man, I want to step in and say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
You just hit on something that because even in South Africa, they don't even refer to Nigerians as Nigerians. They just simply call them the West Africans.
Wow.
Well, I think people forget that Africa is 5 Americas into one.
God, you're right about that.
Because when you look at it from the top of Morocco all the way down, not even the other side of the Red Sea, which is a little bit African. You know, I'm going to be dropping a video on Phoenicia, the time of Hannibal and Carthage. And when you look at today's Phoenicia, that's actually where Palestine is.
Wow.
And it's also why a lot of Palestine guys, when you greet them, and I've spoken to a lot of them, they automatically say to you, hey, brother, because they're all Africans. And which goes to a greater thing of why Israel doesn't want them there. So at one point in time, back in 800 BC and a little bit before 800 BC, I want to say 1800 BC, the Phoenicians controlled that whole river that's between Spain and Morocco, that whole body of water. I don't even call it river, just call it a bay, that whole body of water. And you'll see through the timeline that they touched each point. I say all that to say that this whole thing of not liking each other, in Africa, they don't like the dominance of one group. So Nigerians are known to be the hustlers that sell dope over in Liberia, sell goods over here. You understand what I'm saying? And the people of Ghana, right next door, they have their own thing. And everybody has a problem with the power of the other group when it comes to Africa, from what I've seen.
Okay. But we execute that same group mentality here in America, even within our own culture. We have that same mentality is defeating us here in America when we're trying to, we're in a situation where we need to unite ever more as one, but that mentality continues to hold us back to a certain degree. And I recognize, because this conversation tonight centered around religion in terms of spirituality versus religion, I still feel that we have to still get back to the origins of who we really are as a people. And I think religion is a great thing, but I just think that humans, they add a element to it that ruins it for the very let's say, I don't want to say naive person, but someone who's really looking to believe in something to better their life. My man Lyons Den had some personal tragedies with his family, which Lyons Den, tell me if I'm wrong or right. Is that one of the things that made you gravitate towards Islam after what happened to your uncles?
Yeah, yeah, that's part of it. And I also lost 2 of my baby cousins through gun violence as well.
Okay.
And then, you know, my personal life, my fiance left me, you know, with another, that's another story. But, you know, went downhill from there. And then when I basically have friends that I know who are Muslims, you know, they really hype, you know, they really cheer me up. They really, you know, console me in a way and say, you know, there's other things there's other things you should do. And the more I think about it, that's when I started to change who I am, not just because I'm Muslim, but I just changed myself as a man. Because obviously, you know, when you look back at it, you know, all the tragedies that I've been through, all the situations that I've been through, it comes back to who you are as a person. And that's why, you know, as me as a Muslim and as me as a person, it makes me turn back of who I am, because I admitted that before the tragedies happened, I wasn't who I was. But
Question.
then, yes.
No, go ahead and finish your thing, and then I have a question.
Yeah. But then when I've noticed that my life has changed and completely around when things are happening, and then when I converted to Islam, that's when my life started to change. My life started to change for the better, and my life started to change mentally, spiritually, and emotionally.
So here's my
question.
Here's my question, and this goes to the point of Information Man's thing on religion. Do you think that your spirit was ready for, or not ready, was eager for the structure that the culture of Islam had for you?
Well, the thing, yes, it does, because the things that I've been through in the past, you know, because remember, I was born a Christian, and
Right.
I was basically, you know, my family's are Christians, on my mother's side and my father's side, and you know, I grew up being a Pentecostal Christian, learning, you know, Jesus, you know, being the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
But the structure for you was not as strong as what you got out of Islam.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's my point, that I wasn't fit. Put it like this: when I was a Christianity, it was at that time, it wasn't for me. You know what I mean? Because I've been through horror stories, been through tragedies, been through homelessness. It wasn't for me until when I converted to Islam. My life has been peaceful. My life has been changed completely. I've become really fully myself than I was in the past. So my point is that, you know, when I had all these tragedies that happened to me, when I have all these things that happen to me, you know, the thing of it is that I wasn't. I mean, after my cousin passed away, after my uncle passed away, I wasn't myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I've still been trying to grieve on my family's death, and then added insult to injury, when my fiance at the time, when I needed her, you know, when she cheated on me with another man, and now she's with the guy now, that made it even worse for me. So everything that went downhill from there. So when I have friends that, you know, lift me up, who are Muslims, because I know like 3 of my friends that are Muslims. They lift me up, they talk to me, they console me, and they say, well, you know, there's basically a better way in your life, you know, than the stuff that you used to be in. Because believe me, I'm in good spirits now than I was, I say, 5 years ago.
Lions, let me offer this observation. I'm gonna put myself on mute after this, but let me offer this observation to Information Man, you and the other brother.
Okay.
Here's what I find very interesting about Lion's conversation, and the reason why I asked him what I asked him is because if Black men only had the infrastructure of we older Black men to rely on, if they only had the infrastructure to be able to come to the older Black men and find jobs, wisdom, what have you, we wouldn't be in a place where we need the quote unquote religious factor, because we would have some natural, and not supernatural, but some natural living example of, okay, I'm going through this. I got these dudes over here who are going to cover me, because everything that Lion said was about covering. And until he came into that structure, there was no covering. And even when the woman he thought was a teammate, she thought about herself and abandoned ship for whatever reason, there still was no covering. And my whole point in saying this, I'm gonna put myself on mute, is that if only we as black men can create infrastructure for other black men, irregardless of our religion, irregardless of our shade of skin, and irregardless, if we could just go to another black man and say, hey man, I want to do right. This has happened to me. Oh man, come on in, Lion. I got you, man. We're gonna put you with this fireman union, and we're gonna get you counseling, but we don't have that. But I'm gonna put myself on mute.
Wait a minute, Mr. Research. So you're saying that our lack of infrastructure or systems set in place to be able to support brothers when we're going through, or the community when we're going through these ups and downs in our life, an infrastructure.
Absolutely, because black females have infrastructure. When a black female going through the same thing, she got systems, she got programs, she got all the type of stuff for her. If black female has her brothers and what have her die, they got grievance centers for her to go to for free that they'll just charge it to the social welfare system or to the SSI. Asians got Asian community centers that the Asian guy who his family got murdered, he can go there and get free counseling. The Jews got it. Everybody got it except for black males.
Wow.
Man, I love what you just said, Mr. Research. That's a real profound point. Matter of fact, I wanted to go and add, like, the sisters, the black sisters, they not only have systems, but they also have sisters, other sisters that they can lean on too. And the reason why we as black men don't have that stuff, because once again, we've been indoctrinated with this let's see, with this colonizer supremacist ideology that, oh, you're a man, and all that other sensitive stuff that's feminine and all that. And a lot of us grew up believing that. That's why we believe it's all basically all machismo is false masculinity. And we've been indoctrinated with this false masculinity, meaning that we don't show emotions, that we don't cry, and nothing like that. And that's another reason why we're so messed up as men today.
Wow, you're on point.
I also think, and I agree with both guys in the panel that we basically as men, I mean, like you said, sisters got backup. You know, they got other sisters, like real Aaron Collins said, they got, programs they can go to. But as black men, we don't have stuff like that. I mean, we have to do what we have to do on our own. So that's the only thing that we all have to understand, that we basically really, because the thing is that I haven't found myself until, Allah called me. And so my thing is that when I converted to Islam, my life has changed for the better. I've never been in a better position than I am now. And it's basically, it shows that you have to know who you are for yourself too. You just can't just join any organization unless you know if that organization or that religion is, or if that anything that's fit for you. So my point is that we cannot basically need to know who you are. I mean, basically you have to learn who you are for yourself. And then you gotta know if this program or this religion is right for you, because you don't want to set up in a situation and then you figure out one day, oh, this is good for me. Then turn around and say, I shouldn't even join that program. I shouldn't even join that church. I shouldn't join that mosque. Because the thing of it, at the end of the day, it's about what you want to do for yourself and what you choose to do for yourself.
True, brother. I really appreciate your words, Lions Den. We got my man, Underrated Darkness. You've had a chance to hear a little of what we've been talking about from afar. Brother, you want to add anything? Chime in.
Peace to the panel, peace to the chat, peace to you as always, brother. Information man. I think the thing is when we gotta understand that the system, when back in the 60s when we was marching to have rights and everything, civil rights and everything, we gotta go back to historical context. Sometimes we do miss that sometimes.
You're right.
And we have to understand that the black man was not included of the actions of the entities that the black woman is getting. And so it caused a divided within our family. And that's why they have a very strong, that's why they can get everything right now, because it was catered to the women. But at the same time, we have fallen apart. I think some of us as black men, I think I'm talking about the millionaires now. Back then, they fall very short. And even the pastors, they did, some majority of them did not set up programs. So in case like if we fall in this negative net, that we have programs to help provide for ourselves first and provide for our family. And that's why sometimes at the same time, that's why you're doing right now. And also there is one point that we have to understand too, that the black churches used to be the spiritual, social, and all that fabric for our community. Until we understand that to a certain extent, when we start integrating of other communities, that's when the moral and everything else has go down.
Yes.
And also another point too, also the black churches for a long time, they not reaching out to the black man. They reaching out to the young, to single black women, because those are the ones who have the money, those are the ones who's part of the economic fabric. And even if you're married to a black woman that loves to go to church, or even the man's not going to church, but he believes God in a certain way, and there's a lot of confusion that be happening, and that's what these pastors be playing on these sisters, and kind of find out everything has been all confusion. So we have to talk about these points, and every point I bring up is connected to. So
can I ask a question? So
right ahead, Mr. Research.
Can I ask a question of underrated? So let's talk about that for a second. So in your way of looking at it, is it reasonable to say that because those women are putting their money back into that infrastructure, or whatever we want to call it, of the church or city council or whatever, and you acknowledge that's the reason why those entities are listening to those sisters, then why are we as men not taking our extra $5, putting it into those situations so we can be listened to? Because if we're not, then all we're doing is talking, and nobody can really take talking serious. But
I can answer that too. We got to understand, again, I'm not going to keep on knocking the black men or black women all day. We want to. They are, some of us are doing it, but it's not enough. And we have to understand that it's got to be collectively. It cannot be just a few. So I beg to differ on that. So there are brothers out here that understand where I'm coming from, and other brothers on the chat, but this not enough. So when you talking about that, yeah, it's got to bring $5. There's brothers is doing it, but understand again, we got to understand how the system has set up. And that's not making no excuses, but we got to call a spade a spade. I'm tired. All due respect, I'm tired that we always be knocking each other. Oh, we not doing this, or we not doing that. There are quite a few of us is doing the work, but it's not enough. And that's the frustrating point about it. And there are actually people who have the money, they not putting it too. So till we understand that all of us have to be working on the same accord, no matter what status that we in, the cycle is going to continue.
I understand. My only thing is, and I do agree with you, from a person myself who volunteers for 2 groups, and I do put in money. The problem I'm always running into, Mr. Underrated, and this, and again, every state is different, every city is different. I see too many gay dudes volunteering for black boys. I see too many white people volunteering for black boys. And sometimes it's just me, another brother, and a black sister. And I volunteer in Atlanta, I volunteer in Frisco. And the sad thing is, like you said, it's not enough, but it's like anytime some of us who do, I get off work at 5. I tuck and roll and go to Father's Allegiance by 6. I'm finished Father's Allegiance by 7, and then I get maybe an hour and a half of sleep and got to be at my night job at 9. Compared to the brothers who ain't necessarily working all day or don't have 2 jobs, and you rarely see them volunteer. You rarely see at the council. So I understand your point, and I'm not knocking it. It's just that sometimes from a standpoint of a person who is tucking and rolling and volunteering and reaching back and spending my money to help somebody else, I see too many dudes tell me what should be happening. Not you, just in general. And
I understand what you're saying.
It's kind of hurtful to hear people say that. And I see more black men volunteer for black girls than I see black men volunteer for black boys. And I'm gonna be quiet on that.
I understand, right? I get what you're saying. I see that too. But at the same time, though, too, if we're gonna hold each other accountable, that we should, and I agree totally. We have to understand. I'm not letting off this oppressed system off the hook either. Because like I give you a case for, I live in Virginia, right? Do you know that in Virginia, they pushing same gender rights than the rights of us as melanin people? Now, a lot of brothers is not ahead of the legislation or anything. But I know that some of us is fighting. I know some of us is reaching out, for take care of our young men. But see, as again, I'm not blaming us, and I'm not blaming, maybe it's a combination, could be, but there are brothers out here, but at the same time, they cutting programs out. They doing the same thing. When I'm originally from New York, I have a brother that I grew up with. He said that his community center, just back like 2 months ago, his community center, he's fighting community center that had more programs for young men. And they said, no, you got to have programs for women too. Yeah, we already have programs for women. And until this day, they fight on the skin of their neck to make sure the money and the entities to come there so to save young white boys. So we have to understand that no matter what happens as a black man, we always going to be under attack. We always going to be underfunded. We always are. They're not going to say that what worth that we are. So it's going to be a constant fight. So for me, I commend what you're doing. I commend all the brothers what you're doing, even in the chat, even sisters too. But we talking about economics. We talking about numbers. We talking about bodies. We talking about a certain system has been working against us for years, and all that we doing, we just playing catch up. And so these other groups that is not in our agenda, they the one getting the hookup. And that's the thing that we better discuss about. And that's all I'm going to say, and I fall back.
Nah, underrated darkness, you on the money. That's why I brought up the issue of tribalism tonight. We have to do everything in our power to stay away from this tribalism philosophy. that we know that women and black women and black men, we know that we have different issues that we struggle with. We know that there are services that cater more towards females. And I would be straight up with y'all. I think we as men we're dying a silent death, because even though, for example, in this country we call America, they promote women's breast cancer, right? People's wearing pink, people's wearing different colors. However, yes, women get breast cancer, but men are dying from cancer more than anybody. And let's not even get into black men when it comes to prostate cancer for us. So we die a silent death because we need to have more dialogue like this, where brothers can talk to each other about what we're struggling with. Lions Den has been struggling with the fact that his family members were killed by some beast. You know what I'm talking about. And a lot of times women have outlets where they talk to each other, and men, we've been culturally conditioned to suck up our pain and don't show any weakness. But we die a silent death, whether it be the fact that we don't want to go to the hospital and get our regular checkups. Oh, well, if I don't feel no pain, it's okay. I can get up and keep moving forward in life. That's why we die like we do. And then we die even more silent because we need to have more dialogue like this. Now, I came from a spiritual or religious point of view earlier, but I like where things are going right now. I like the fact that you came in, you gave us something to chew on, to think about, to realize. I agree with research. It is true. It's a damn shame when you go to a community center and you see more people there, or even more women there, than you see black men working with young black males. When how the hell they're going to learn how to be a man when they don't have enough of us around to show them the real example? Those of us that are a shining example. Not to say that there's not brothers that are doing it. You got the 100 men, the leader of 100 men. You got all these different organizations out here that are doing the work. But I have to agree with him that too often you do see young black males not getting this sort of instruction that they really need to groom themselves as young men into adulthood. And that's what I have to say about that. And I believe spirituality plays into that too as well. Anybody want COG, brother, you on the panel? Anybody have anything to say? We got COG on. Mr. Research is still there. Real Aaron Collins, Lions Den, Underrated Darkness, brothers. You have anything to add to what I just said, or you have anything you want to add? Period.
It's good that this is real therapeutic for us to be having these topics, because once again, like we just iterated, that we have been culturally conditioned as men not to even do this. We've been always conditioned to be a lone wolf and to stand there and take it. Real men, this, that, and don't have no clue what a real man is, because a lot of times they themselves didn't have real men influences. But one thing in my personal life that my nephew and my niece and nephew, my youngest niece and nephew, I helped raise them. I actually practically did raise them. But every year they've been known to tell me Happy Father's Day. Even though I'm not their father, I'm their uncle. They still tell me Happy Father's Day. Oh, and I look at that as really touching, because I quite literally am the only really representative of a father that they know and had. So I look at that as a compliment, even though sometimes I feel like that I really didn't seem like sometimes I feel like I didn't do much or enough, but they see it differently. They're grown now, but they see it differently.
Let me throw this out there for everybody to chew on. Think about it like this. Let me just throw this question out there for all you guys, for all you brothers. If our spirituality, this is just for food for thought. If our spirituality, not just religion, but our spirituality is on point, wouldn't our community be on point, or would our relationship to black young men be better on point if we had our spirituality more on point?
Here's what I would say. I would go back to the structure element, because spirituality is a trigger word for so many people.
Yeah.
I would just go back, if it was me,
Okay.
I would go back to the logical structure. You know what I'm saying? Because just like the example that my man The Real just gave.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
He provided a structure where there was none. And still, he felt there was something more could have been done, because while they were fascinated by the little that he thought he gave, for them, it was mountains. And I also go back to what Underachiever said on what he said about the programs and what have you.
Yes.
If the structure was in place, due to our dollars going back into taking over the teachers union in our city.
Okay.
Why is it not a black male teachers union? Why are we not putting 100 black fathers or fathers who got stepchildren in one Facebook page and saying, hey, let's kick in $20 a month each of us, and when this next election comes up, we're gonna run a campaign to get that chick up out of there and put a brother in charge. Why are we not doing that? Because the structure isn't there. So I wouldn't say so much religion, not saying that that's incorrect, because it does have its space, but I would say there needs to be a black male financial structure to force a lot of these things to happen. And so also a brother like The Real can be publicly acknowledged so that the image of that can live on forever.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. But I just, the reason why I brought up the spiritual, because I'm going to say it again, spirituality doesn't really have anything to do with necessary religion. Spirituality is just how you carry yourself, how you connect to your belief in a higher power, how you connect to your community and things around you, how you move and operate. And if our spirituality was about what? Vibrating for family-oriented type of attitude, meaning I am, as a black man, am committed to doing what? I am committed to raising young black men. I'm committed to mentoring young black men. That's my spirit, brother. That's
Yes,
spirit.
sir.
That's what I'm trying to say. You cannot, as black people, as melanated, dark mattered people, you cannot separate yourself from the spiritual connection you have to this universe. And if our spirit was vibrating properly, because we are a vibrating people, black is a frequency, not just a color. If we were frequencyingly vibrating properly, we would be in tune with our community better and say, my ass needs to raise these black youngsters. We can't have our black women raising young boys by themselves that we later on complain and say, look how feminine he is. And then we complain when they go up feminine because we're not there to step up. And the hell with this Pookie and Ray Ray stuff about, well, it ain't my responsibility to get in there and help the community from Pookie and Ray Ray. The fact of the matter is, if you're going to say that something's wrong with the damn black community and you don't get involved, then you are the damn problem. And Pookie and Ray Ray will rule today with their damn spirit, which is a spirit that is putting our community backwards. And then 9 and 10 times, if we as black men stand up and lead, our women will follow us. We complain about them wanting to do their own thing and having an attitude, but attitude dictates leadership. And if we lead as black men, our women will follow us because they will follow our protocol, because we don't split or change from that protocol. That's why I say it's about our spirit. If your spirit was on point, your actions will be on point as well. It all is cyclical. It all goes together as one. That's my point. Any brothers have anything to say? I'm just very passionate about what I just said.
Yeah. You know what? One thing I went to, this is back when I lived in Chicago. I say back in '92. The church that I actually went to was actually on top of black issues. I will say that much. And we had a meeting a men's meeting. It was literally titled "Restoration of the Black Male," and we even back then we realized that the black male is an endangered species, and basically, and I don't mean that in a demeaning way because I know they like to call us animals, but meaning an endangered species, meaning that we are in danger of dying out. And the same holds true today. Now, that was 92. This is 2018, and not a damn thing has changed. So, yeah, we definitely have got to pull onto the coattails of these young brothers and let them know that the thug life is not the way to go. Because basically all a gang is just a substitute family anyway.
But it seems like nothing changes because the minute somebody pops up, here comes another black person to do their crab impression and talk about he don't speak for us.
That's true.
He just a coon anyway.
That's true.
Or whatever. Look at the movie Coach Carter and Lean on Me. What do both movies have in common? A black person came in to destroy the person that created change. The kids was happy. The kids was prospering.
Yeah.
There was no evil white person. It was a black person. And what's so sad is even when you look at Atlanta, because I look at history a lot, you look at black men at one point begging for a job. I am a man, carrying around these signs, give me a job. And the minute they start getting jobs, what's the first thing they start doing? You saw those same men 3 years later wearing mink coats. So how are we changing it if me and Quest put together 20 G's and we want to start a black nerd union, and here comes some dudes talking about, man, you know what Quest used to do back on the streets? Man, you know what Q used to. Next thing you know, it's on some female gossip site, and our whole situation go away.
Well, we don't tell them. Don't tell them a goddamn thing. Let's just get to it.
Okay. You say don't just do it.
Don't tell them. Don't tell nobody shit. Let's just do it, man. We family. We can't even talk to nobody outside the goddamn code of construction, because they're on the code of destruction.
Go on, COG. You talking.
Yeah, we can't tell nobody shit, man. I mean, the minute you tell somebody your plan, nigga, they look at you. I mean, excuse my language. The minute you tell somebody what you believe, they look at you like you crazy. And then it's almost like, I believe in me. I'm trying to get you to believe in yourself. Dummy. Stupid.
You talking.
That's true. I think the key is that we have to work under a code. We got to develop an underground mindset, and it's got to be a big picture. It's got to be steps. It's like this. I'm with Lions Den, right?
Okay.
Lions Den, you live in Detroit, right?
No, I live in the DC area.
The DC area.
Okay, you live in the DC area, right? That ain't that far from me. So me and Lions Den, we gotta get a plan. So I got some underground brothers. You got some underground brothers. Listen, if we got certain brothers, yo, this is a code we gotta go by so everybody can eat. And it's gotta be substantial. And we gotta keep on pushing. Yeah, it's gonna be some laid back and stuff like that. But we gotta learn to think underground at times. Yeah. Sometimes we let like my brother, he say, like, you can't tell everybody because not everybody is not gonna get it. Everybody had this jealous attitude, yo, I'm gonna get mine, instead of the bigger picture. Because we always think regional. Yeah. Instead of nationally, instead of big picture. And that's our problem too. That's why we can never fall. That's why we can never finish it, because we let other people intervene of the bigger picture that we have for somebody. That's what I'm saying. You know, we gotta develop the underground mindset.
That's right. That's what I was saying about some of our tribalism. In some ways, it can hurt us because we need to be unifying more under a standard. And the farther we get away from that, because we want to be in our individual cliques, the more further we're away from achieving our goals and improving our community, and the farther away we get away from even our spirituality, God, our family, the further we pull ourselves away, the more we isolate ourselves into these little groups that we like to get ourselves in.
Info Man is a genius. The man just said individual. That means division. Within we divide. Individual. That means divide yourself from everybody else and do your shit. That ain't gonna happen.
Right on, COG. Right on. Right on.
We can't do it like that.
Out of respect for you, because you're a very wise brother. I mean, you're hearing some of our talk. I mean, what do you think? What do you think, brother? You've had experience in life.
Shit, man, I don't want to start, bro. You know, me and you got to have like a.
But Mr. Hang on for a minute.
I'm gonna tell you where it started at.
Okay, go ahead, brother. I'm gonna let you go ahead.
Man, when I was in elementary school, them goddamn kids used to try to freak up under the desk and say, I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then I'm talking about elementary, I'm talking about kindergarten. Okay. And then next thing you know, I was there. I made everything I say, I make songs about. Everything y'all talk about, songs about. That's not the point. If that.
Okay.
So one day I was standing at this when I knew this white chick was a motherfucker. I said, I gotta pee. I'm squirching, I'm screaming, I'm squirching and screaming, not screaming, squirching and screaming. And then I went up to her desk, kindergarten, 4 years old. I was standing at her desk, man. And I pissed on myself. That motherfucker stood up on the and slammed both hands slammed both palms on her desk and said, "How could you?" I said, "What the fuck you mean? How could I? I just begged you to piss for 5 minutes or 10 minutes."
Okay.
Meanwhile, motherfuckers had under the desk getting booty and shit. I'm like, man, this ain't my life, man.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
And then in 4th grade, this dang old man, Mr. Flood, just went off on the whole class.
Okay. All right, brother. Let me.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
I want to get us back on topic, though, brother. I want to stay on topic here. That's just what happened to you at that time, brother. That's some crazy stuff. You know.
Yeah.
You gotta use the bathroom. That's your nature, but it shouldn't have happened to you. But I want to get us. I want to get us back. Stay on the topic here, Mr. Research, brother. Where are you with what's some of the stuff that we said related to the topic? Of course. Where are you at, brother? Your thoughts?
All right. So here's what I'm trying to do. Just one example. I got to tell people what goes on because that's how we generate more money to possibly make the marketing happen, so more people can know. Mm-hmm. So I'm in the standpoint, I've donated money to this venture I'm about to mention, just so the possibility of improving the image for Black people in what used to be a white space. So I donate to WakandaCon. That is a Black Comic-Con event. Mm-hmm. That's going to happen in Chicago.
Okay.
And that money I made from working overtime and a second job, I took a couple of G's and I donated it to them. And I reached out to the creator and his family. And at one point in time, I was going to do a 3rd day on top of what they doing. Okay. The reason I bring up that is as it relates to what everybody's talking about. I'm not necessarily going to get no financial benefit out of it. I'm not necessarily going to see this event do well. But because I have the extra loot from making the choices in life to get the extra loot,
okay,
it's a possibility that it can help some little young dude or Lion's son, the Real's nephew, Quest's grandson, and so on and so forth, if they can look at that event in some form and say, man, I didn't even know that there was that many black comic book creators.
Okay.
Then the couple of G's was a win-win for me, because somebody did that for me when they created Electric Company back in the day.
Okay. I remember Electric Company. I grew up watching it.
oh, did you know Bill Cosby and Morgan Freeman bankrolled that?
Yeah, Morgan Freeman was Easy Reader before he became the coon.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, they financially bankrolled the Electric Company to be created.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. Very much familiar with that. Yes.
But that's what I think about what we're saying, is that we are all right in our way. We are all correct. Nobody's incorrect. It's just that there has to be some collective financial piece, because everybody else is doing it and they beating the black man at it, and the little black boy suffers. Then, just like Lion says, he got to go out there looking for other tribes, or hope that this Christian people do right, or you know what I'm saying. It's like we got to create something that's just black men about black men, even if we have to take over the even if we got to take over the teachers union in our county.
Yeah, I hear you. No, I agree with black men. We do have to step up and start doing things that we create that can be beneficial to our community. I agree with that. I think we do need to have more things that help us to better ourselves individually, better our community, and better our young men. I think you need to have that, because at the end of the day, I mean, when I grew up, my mother and father divorced when I was very young. I knew what my father was, but most of my things that I learned from men came from me getting involved in sports, which is another reason why you have a lot of young black males getting involved in sports, because they tend to find male role models in sports, being coaches, being in rec centers. I mean, I went to rec centers all my life, and most of my male interaction with people who ran rec centers, black men in the community that were running rec centers, that were let me join, playing basketball, let me join track, let me do 3-point shot contests. And it was black men who were running these sort of programs. And from there, I kind of learned some things, from black men who were, old school in their approach. We didn't get no participation trophies. So,
hey, I apologize, you guys. I got to run before it gets dark. I got to spray my house. There's too many spiders on the outside of my house.
All right, go on, brother. Go on and do your thing. I appreciate you being on board with us. I thank you, brother.
All right, then. Peace out.
Peace out. All right.
Whoa. Fam say before it get dark, where that guy at, man?
Hey, COG, brother. He's just off the panel right now, brother. Let's try to stay on topic. I want to ask everybody. You've heard the conversation. Where it's gone. Before we get ready to end this live stream, anybody have any last thoughts about any of the thoughts that any of the subjects that we've talked about tonight? Underrated darkness. You have anything you want to add before we end tonight, brother? Real Aaron Collins, or okay, go right.
Let me go and say something real quick. As usual, Inframan, and I know I said this before, but I really mean it. This has been very, very therapeutic streaming. We definitely need to talk about. This is proof that we can all come together. We can unify, and we come from. We just showed that we come from different spiritual beliefs and teachings, but that doesn't mean that we can't talk to each other, because we are black first, and we can unite around the issues of our blackness and do something within our communities. I had a conversation, a nice conversation with my mom about a few weeks ago about this very same thing. And she said, we definitely need to be concerned about what goes on in our black communities, because, I do believe in, the protection Christ and his blood and all, but at the same time, I do realize that as a black man, I walk out here on these streets, and you get the right race soldier, might want to still want to at least make the attempt to hassle me just because of our blackness. I'm not going to just look down on another brother. Oh, well, see, you with the nation, so I can't be with you. No, that's not how I roll. And once again, I said it already, and I'll say it again. I may come under flack from the more traditional judgmental type of Christian folks. We call them church folks, but you know, that's their issue.
Okay.
Because because even if they step to me the wrong way, you know, they gonna be let know. Let them know, you know. I mean, I'm not gonna be brutal about it, but I'm gonna be firm. Say, listen, you know.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. Definitely. Underrated darkness, brother. Any last words for you, brother?
All I can say that as a black man, we as black men, we gotta understand that we are worth. Like I made a hashtag not long ago. It says hashtag positive is inner self-worth. And that's what we got here. We gotta understand that we have inner self-worth within ourselves. And then when we have that, and then we could incorporate to these other brothers out here to understand that we care. And we gotta stay with them. We just cannot just give money. Because see, some of us, I ain't sitting on the panel, but I know throughout the years, see, I'm talking about the black man that has the money, that been part of organization, they give money. Here, I'm gonna write a black check out. No, our brothers need visual. They need the time. They need that association.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to get back into that.
I agree with you, brother. I appreciate you saying what you said, brother. I really do. Sometimes we need to hear truth. Sometimes we got to stop hearing what we want to hear and hearing what we need to hear in order to go forward. I'm going to come to you, COG, brother. Given what you've heard on topic, brother, you have any last words, brother? Brother COG? COG, are you there? I don't think.
Yes, sir, I'm here. I had to reject the call.
Do you have any last words you want to add about the subject matter we've been talking about tonight? Anything you want to, because I'm about to put a crescendo on the stream tonight. I'm going to go over to Lions Den and let him give his words and let him read off a few statements that people are saying in the chat room so we can acknowledge folks in the chat room. Anything you want to say, brother?
Really, our conversations be wavy like the ocean. They be all over the place, so I won't even pick up on nothing. I'm just say, you know, hold your head. Like,
thank you, brother.
Like, I can give you one thing though.
Go right ahead.
All this, okay, bet. So, Ra come out of Egypt. Ra, that was the sun.
Yeah.
Then we come out with Ra Star Far Rion. That was Elasus. The guy they follow, Haile Selassie.
Yes.
When I talk, y'all can't deny that we want people. Haile Selassie came out with Ra Star Farion. Then we got Ra Maidan. All that stuff come from Africa.
You're right.
Ra Maidan, Ra Stafarian. Ra Maidan is we go fast in hopes that Ra Maidan, the same sun that the Africans was believing up in to boost them up.
And you have Ra
Stafar Rion.
And remember the Egyptians, they had the symbol of Ra, right?
Thank you.
So you on point, brother. I want to thank you for dropping dropping that on us, brother. That's what I'm talking about. Now that's what I'm talking about, brother. Thank you. Lions Den, unmute yourself, brother. Make sure you give a little love to everybody in the chat room. Maybe read off some things that they're saying before you make your last words tonight.
Yes, sir. I would like to thank everybody in the chat room first and foremost. To Queen, Know Who I Am, Expose Fake Pro Blacks, Bun Bun, M. Mitch. Let's see here, Ann S. Perry. We'll see going up. Jack Johnson, Robin the Girl Wonder, the handy fan with King Wage, Cap, you know the Cap.
Yeah.
Yep, Jamis Baldwin, Bun. Let's see here. That's right. Going straight up. Basic Lance Beeman. I'm gonna go IC. I'm gonna go straight up. The Logic Thinker. Let's see, Ashley D. I'm trying to go because this goes real fast.
I understand, brother. No problem.
Chris Yuha. Let's see, the Artie B Fresh. And I guess this is it.
Okay. And make sure everybody in the chat room, make sure you get a chance, subscribe to each other's channels, support each other, because we got nobody but ourselves. We got to support each other, you know, the best way to do it. I want to thank everybody. Lions Den, you got any last words, brother?
Yeah, my final words for everybody, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you in this panel as well. Well, this will remind you guys that we're, at the end of the day, we're kings and queens. It doesn't matter what religion we are. I don't care if you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, you're a Buddhist, you're Jewish. We all kings and queens, and we got to come together as kings and queens. There's no one beyond the other. We still, at the end of the day, we got to love each other, respect each other. We're family. And remember, at the end of the day, you're a king and you're a queen. That's all I have to say, Info.
All right. What I want to say at the end of the day is what I said before. If our spirituality is on point, I feel that is one key amongst many other key attributes that could lead us in the right place. I want to thank, I had a chance to listen to Lisa and True Royal Family when they did a live stream, and they were talking about the faith, you know, of being a Hebrew Israelite. And I want to say that there's very much a lot powerful about that religious practice. So in no shape or form that I do this tonight because I'm trying to put down religion. I'm simply did this tonight to examine. We should always examine that which we believe in and examine that which we practice and examine whether it works for us. How does it transform our life? And even though I did make mention many times about how men or humans they can ruin religion, it does not change the fact that you can still find something positive in what you believe. Just keep in mind, believe in the Spirit of God, in the Spirit of the all living, the Almighty, the Theta. Believe in the source of God more than believe in man. Because that's where we get caught up in these religions sometimes, is that we get caught up. I'm going to say it again. Are we more focused on the spirituality of our religion, or are we just caught up in the man who runs the religion, or the man that's in the lead of the church? Because remember, when Eddie Long was molesting those young black males in the church, you still had black folks in Atlanta that were supporting Eddie Long, even though evidence clearly came out that he was doing something inappropriate with young men in the church, for example. So with that said, I want to thank everybody on the panel for being with us. Real Aaron Collins, Lions Den, Mr. Research, Gab Talk Media, COG, my man COG. I like conscious genocide. I like that name you had, brother. I'm gonna stick with that. Underrated Darkness was on with us tonight. I tried to get Oyapo on, but For whatever reason, I guess the brother wasn't able to come on. I was hoping to get a female perspective on some of these issues. But unfortunately, Nicole Ali, I don't know if she was able to come on tonight. I sent her a few links. I should have had Lisa on because she's a very spiritual sister, as well as True Royal Family. But I really tonight thought that it was important for us as black men to talk.
Clarence was with us too.
What'd you say, sir?
Yeah, Clarence was with us also.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Clarence Ray, brother Clarence Ray. I put his YouTube page link in the chat room, and I hope y'all had a chance to subscribe and check him out. He had to go. Something was going on. I think there was something going on with his equipment because earlier I was trying to get him. I was trying to figure out whether he could hear me. I knew I could hear him. And I wanted him to kind of be right on point with the topic tonight. So there was a few technical difficulties, but these things happen sometimes. And I just want to thank Clarence Ray. This really came about, to be quite honest with you. I got to give Clarence Ray a lot of credit because Clarence Ray is the one that inspired me to do this stream tonight, because me and him were talking about religion, because he did a video in which he was talking to some brothers, some black Hebrew-like brothers, or a brother. And we had a conversation, a very cordial conversation, and it went really well. And we just said, hey, man, let's do a live stream. Let's come on over here and do this. So I will more than likely drop his link in the description of this video when this stream ends. And I'll put a nice thumbnail on there. You guys know how I do my thumbnails. I'll put a nice thumbnail. So, Real Aaron Collins, thank you again, brother. The night is still young. It's only 9 o'clock Western time, 10 after 9. So I'm sure if anybody else is planning to do a live stream, we can all participate in that, because the night is still kind of young for some of us. Thank you. Thank you, COG. Thank you, Lions Den. Thank you, everybody in the chat room. Thank you, brothers. Everybody has been great having this discussion. It's great seeing people in the chat room, seeing all the support. It's been it's wonderful, and love you all. Thank you, brothers.
Truth to power. Truth to power. Wait a minute. We're speaking truth.